Grumpy old gay rant of the day. Some of the people on this app do not have the God-given sense that the good Lord gave to a turnip. Let's talk about student loans for a second. This app has been filled with different types of people with different student loans. I am one of them. I was fortunate in the fact that I enrolled in the public service loan forgiveness and paid on mine for 10 freaking years and then had the rest forgiven. And before you come for me in the comments, you have no idea what I had to do to get those loans forgiven. I had to teach for 10 years in the schools that nobody wanted to teach in. I had to teach the subjects that nobody wanted to teach to the kids that nobody wanted to teach. For over 10 years, and I kind of had fun doing it. But there were people on this app for the past 2 years bragging, saying, I will never make my student loan payments. They were all over this app saying, I have no intention of ever paying my student loans. Bragging about it. And then last night and this morning, my feed is full of people saying, I can't believe the government's gonna garnish my wages. I have asked this question many times in the past, but does it hurt to be that stupid? You're like the person who stole a car and then bragged about it to everybody else, and then you're surprised that the police showed up to your house. If you had no intention of paying back the student loan, you could have just shut the fuck up about it. But for some reason, you thought it was okay to brag about it on social media. You know who else is on social media? The government. And they up about it. But for some reason, you thought it was okay to brag about it on social media. You know who else is on social media? The government. And they saw your little TikToks and they said, oh, hell no, not on my watch, bitch. And now they're going to garnish your wages. Even though I find it hilarious to watch you cry on TikTok, Gunkle Tim is still going to help you out. We still have a teacher shortage. And I think if you enroll now, you can start that public service loan forgiveness program. You're still going to have to make your payments for 10 years. And teach in the schools nobody wants to teach in, and teach the subjects that nobody wants to teach. But it's a whole lot better than them garnishing your wages for the rest of your life.
The Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Well, the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, has announced plans to claw back the $188 billion in student loan forgiveness granted under Joe Biden. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, she writes, quote, debt doesn't go away. It gets transferred to others. If borrowers don't pay their debts to the government, taxpayers do. America's Newsroom co-anchor and the 5 co-hosts, Dana Perino, one of those people, also a taxpayer, joins us right now.
Yes, believe me, taxpayer.
Well, remember when this all happened, it looked like Joe Biden was trying to buy the votes of young people who had outstanding student loans. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
But it cost all of us.
So it was a COVID-era policy. It's time for it to go away.
Right.
What she announced yesterday, and in the Wall Street Journal piece today that I thought was very good, is that the gravy train is over. And also remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said, Joe Biden doesn't have the legal authority to do this. They tried to do it anyway. The courts kept pushing it back. So they had false hopes, false promises to people. And I understand the student loan debt can be a burden. It doesn't mean that the system shouldn't be changed or that the interest rate couldn't be lowered. But they are going to have to pay it back. Nobody helped somebody that bought an F-150 as a plumber pay that bill.
Right.
And none of us should have to. They pay their bills. Everyone should pay their bills. It doesn't mean the system can't be reformed.
Here's what she writes. I have another hard truth for the institutions that made empty promises to students while pocketing their loan dollars. Colleges and universities call themselves nonprofits, but for years they have profited massively off the federal subsidy of loans, hiking tuition and piling up billion-dollar endowments while students graduate six figures in the red.
Right. So more truth in advertising is good. Better decision making is also good. The other thing that she says is that they have set up more help to help figure out a way so that the payment can fit your budget. That has to come true.
Right.
They have to be able to answer the phone and get answers for that. Hopefully that will work out. She's also using artificial intelligence to help make that happen.
No kidding. Yeah. Call somebody. All right. Listen. This is going to be the #1 book in the world as of later today.
So.
Dana's
in this morning's Money Moment, if you are in default on your student loans, this story is for you. The Education Department could begin collecting payments by garnishing your wages to collect on that money. Now, the Education Department made that announcement Monday, saying they could start collecting loan money starting May 5th. That's in less than 2 weeks. The involuntary collection will be done through the Treasury Department's offset program that pulls back delinquent debts by withholding payments such as tax refunds, federal salaries, and Social Security benefits. More than 5 million borrowers are in default, and 4 million more could be in the same position in a few months. Less than 40% of borrowers are current on their student loan payments, according to the department. So what's next? You'll receive an email informing you of the next steps to take and urging everyone to look into their repayment options. Wage garnishing notices will be sent out as early as this summer. Now, if you remember, former President Joe Biden had attempted to wipe out student loan debt across the country, but eventually the courts ruled that he misled borrowers about his actual authority to be able to take such an action. In the same announcement, the department added there will not be any mass loan forgiveness at any point. Eventually, the courts ruled that he misled borrowers about his actual authority to be able to take such an action. In the same announcement, the department added there will not be any mass loan forgiveness at any point in the near future. So again, the next step is you should look for an email, and that will guide you on what your options are. I'm Brianna Boudreaux.
They're resuming involuntary collections on student loans. All that time that the loans were frozen, that was the time where the hackers needed to get into the system and erase all of the student loans, genuinely. Because how are they going to be dismantling the Department of Education, but they want everyone to pay back their student loans? But you're dismantling the whole system that the student loans are in. But we're not going to get rid of those student loans. You're still going to have to pay them. Of course, they're going to make everyone pay their student loans, even if they actually got rid of the Department of Education fully. Of course, they're still going to want that money. It's just actually fucking diabolical.
So they're saying they're going to start garnishing wages for student loans. Was adulthood this scary for our parents, or is this like a unbelievably scary time, or adulthood been this?
Now, I know we stand as tall and strong on not doing a goddamn thing, but in a minute, we finna have to lean forward. They talking about garnishing what? For who? Come May 5th, they talking about garnishing checks for fucking student loans. Mecca, do you see what you have done? Now, it's over 5 million people already in debt for student loans. We were protected during Biden run. They're lifting that protection and making us pay. So, we can, switch that direct deposit to checks and just, because they gonna have to come get it in blood. Pick back up the winter boots. I know it's springtime, but it is what it is. Taking out y'all poor decisions that y'all made going into this 2025 project on us, and now just trying to make us go down with you? Because the terrorists off the bat was the horrible move. The Pope didn't pass from seeing JD. But y'all paying Katie $60 million to go motherfucking lie about being in space. Y'all love a good distraction before the bullshit.
They can't garnish this cash. They gonna have to come get it back in blood. They done got us. This time, y'all woke me up. Everything else was a joke, but this here, you got me this time.
I know as the 92%, we're supposed to just not do nothing. We're just supposed to sit back and let Trump supporters find out. But When are we gonna step in exactly? Because now they finna garnish our checks. They finna garnish our checks for these student loans. So I just want to know, what's the plan? What we finna do? Are we just gonna sit back and not do nothing for real?
That new student loan update, talking about y'all gonna start garnishing wages. Let me tell you something. I left student debt with the higher power a long time ago. Left it with God. Let me tell y'all something. They want to keep us poor so bad. They want to keep us in debt so bad. People can barely afford mortgages, rent, any other bills that they have. Barely fucking surviving, and you want to start collecting on a student debt that ain't nobody worried about? What are we doing? Are we robbing banks? Please tell me before I have to get another job. And this is really pissing me off because I'm engaged, and like, how I'm supposed to pay for a wedding and I gotta pay for student loans? How I'm supposed to buy a house and I have to pay for student loans? It's either you save for a down payment or you pay off all your student loans first. And nobody wants to stay in a high, expensive apartment for life. Like, they know exactly what they're doing, and we gotta stick together. We gotta come up with a plan because I'm not about to do this.
Shout out to my man Greg Foreman, y'all. Y'all get over there and sub to his channel. This brother here got some content for you. Good bro. Good bro. Real. He got some merch too, y'all. Like I told y'all, I shared that content with y'all. It came from the good bro Greg here, Greg Foreman. Shout out to Greg, man. Greg be on his shit. No bullshit. I always see why Greg ain't on no motherfucking CNN and one of them motherfucking news channels and shit. You know what I mean? Greg most definitely be putting this shit down. 21 gun salute, Greg. But look, anyway, when the black man out there paying child support, they garnish his wages too. Y'all know that, right? You ever had your check garnished from child support? Or had your account froze, goddammit, because of your arrears? So it ain't nothing new that the brothers ain't already went through. Going through that domestic relation. Shit. Brothers right now, checks getting garnished. You know what I mean? They garnished them, they don't give a damn how many jobs you got. You know what I mean? Now you sisters feel how I feel. When brothers out there paying that child support and they taking care of their kids and they garnishing their wages and doing that shit forever. They even suspend your driver's license. If you try to avoid paying child support, they suspend your driver's license in PA. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Who y'all blame? Joe Biden. Can't blame that on King Trump. He had y'all not paying motherfucking them forgiveness programs and shit for down there, since 2000? 2020? What, 2020 and shit. That's 4 years. What about the interest? We in 2025 now. What about the interest on that shit? Dang. Just call them and make some type of arrangement. Don't ignore it. Just call them, make some type of arrangements and shit. Tell them you can probably pay like $50 every 2 weeks. Just don't ignore them, because if you ignore them, one day you're going to go to your account, your whole account going to be froze. You're going to be like that. And then you're going to have to contact them. By then, they done cleaned your account out for what's in there. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, call them. Don't ignore that motherfucking letter when y'all get it. Once again, shout out to Greg. 21 gun salute, King.